Perfect Fourths Tuning, Part 11. It's a hack to master 3 concepts so you can get 48 triad fingerings in the same octave just by moving 3 levers. So this is an introduction to the levers that we can use to quickly iterate through the different possibilities for playing triads. So the goal of Guitar in Fourths Gear is to talk about perfect fourths tuning and simplifying all these patterns. And it's to help experienced guitarists like me and you that maybe learn cage system and break out of the caged boxes, the 5 boxes that we study, and kind of relearn guitar from first principles thinking so you can replace your patterns with improvisational freedom and note choice. And also the process of transitioning your learning this way is to make music a lifelong learning project for its own sake. And so perfect fourths tuning is tuning your fourths straight across. So if you're tuning at the 5th fret like we have done before, and you don't make this your fourths all the way across, you're not tuning at the 4th fret, it's 5th fret all the way across, and it's fourths all the way across. In this guitar, the Stratocaster, I'm tuning down, perfect fourths down. So it's E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, and E. Okay? So I've gone into detail with that in other lessons. By the end of this lesson, you'll have an understanding of the 3 levers that I'm going to talk about. The 4 different triads, which are major, minor, diminished, and augmented. The 3 inversions of the triad. The 4 different fretboard patterns to play a triad, not all simultaneously, you'll see. And that math creates 48 shapes. But you only have to really learn 3 things. So it's kind of nice. There's going to be a link to the PDFs in the description. And this is what we're winding up with. So this is one triad. This is the major triad. And this is the 12 possible ways to play it in the same octave. So that once you go beyond the octave, there's lots of ways to play it. But so this is, so we're going to start with, what fret am I on here? So 5th fret. So reading across the top. That's first position at root, and then playing it across 2 strings like this, playing it across 2 strings like this, and then play it on 1 string. So same notes, same octave, 4 different ways to play it. And it is kind of essentially the only 4 that works transposing up and down the neck. And so we're going to go through this in more detail in the future. This is just to get you an overview of the whole system. So it's all going to be in the same octave, the same notes, like I just played. It's going to use 4 fretboard patterns, and for each chord, you're going to run through the 4 patterns. These are the 4. Across all 3 strings, with the first note on 1 string and the second 2 notes on the next string, and then the first 2 notes on the first string, and then 1 note on the second, and then all on the same string. Okay? And then 3 inversions. So you're going to start on the root note, the 3rd, and the 5th. So the 3 inversions, and you can still do the same shapes with each inversion. And then the 4 triad patterns, which we have the major triad. Well, we'll actually start with augmented, which we don't use that much, but it's got the raised 5th. So you get that kind of like whole tone scale, or kind of rockabilly. It has some good chords that use that. So there's augmented, and lower the 5th to the major 3rd, then lower the 3rd to the minor 3rd, and then lower the 5th again to the diminished. So just those 4 shapes, and then you're just going to multiply the patterns out, and we'll get to 48. Okay? And again, with the same page that we're going to reference in the PDF that follows, but this again is just 1 chord. So in perfect fourths, you have 48 shapes, which is kind of overwhelming, but it's 4 patterns times 3 inversions and 4 chords. So each one you can kind of study at a time, and it's just small changes and the same concepts that you can use over and over again, and you'll find it much easier to get around the neck once you learn it this way, instead of like learning your A box, which is just a big 6-string box that doesn't repeat the same way. So anyway, with caged, to learn the same vocabulary, you'd actually need 192, because for each pattern you would need to learn the different ones as you cross the B string. And so learning it that way is so overwhelming that I just never did for decades of playing. But now back in Perfect Force, I'm like, hey, I can really learn it the right way from the first time. So here's the 4 triads again. This will again be part of the PDF, but to play them a little bit more directly. So majors, where we usually start. And then we lower the 3rd to the minor triad. And the diminished triad, which I have trouble reaching down here. And then the augmented triad, just in terms of how often it gets used. I'm still working on my augmented triad and getting that into my playing. But anyway, and now here's the 3 inversions. So this is an important concept with triads, and you probably hear other people online talk about inversions. So we start with the major triad on the root note. And then we're going to go to the first inversion, which is starting on the 3rd note of the chord. So from caged, we're kind of thinking about G shape, and then we're going to go to the next 3 notes over, and then when we start on the 5th of the chord, so these are our 3 inversions. So where that's playing horizontally across the neck, we can also play them vertically. So we're going to start here, then we're going to go up to the 3rd, then we're going to go up to the 5th. And the 5th, you'll see over here is the E shape basically, and then this is kind of part of the G shape, and then this is the kind of the C shape. So to relate it back to caged, but the advantage is that we don't have to change it. So if this note here is a D flat, so if we want to play G flat, well, it's the exact same shape. And then if we want to go over to the what's next here, the D, or wait, what note is this? D flat, C or B? Yeah. On this guitar, it's a B. Exact same shape all the way across. So in future videos, I'm going to go into a lot of exhaustive detail, but as you see the detail and the repetition, it will hopefully make more sense. So the shapes I've gone over again, but here they are easier to see. So the first shape is 3 notes on consecutive strings. Root, 3rd, 5th, root, 3rd, 5th, and then we're going to play the same notes, but we're going to play it broken apart like this. Root, 3rd, 5th, and we're going to play it a 3rd way, where we go root, 3rd on the same string, root, 3rd, and then 5th on the next string up, and then all on the same string. So there's 4 shapes, and that's it. This one, this one, this one, and this one. And once you start learning that way, so you say, okay, well, I'll learn my triad on 1 string. But since you've already learned your triad this way, when you get up to the 3rd and 5th here, so root, 3rd, 5th, we know, hey, the root's right back here. And when you learn the triad, when you learn the other inversions, you're like, oh, well, here I am here. I have my other inversion right here under my fingers. So we'll get into this in more detail, and it's slow going, but it's coming back from first principles. So, and here's the first position. So we start with the root position, and for first position, we're going to start on the third note. Okay, so we have the same concept: root, third, fifth on different strings, and then root, third, fifth. Whoops, third, fifth, root. So this is kind of a big stretch from the fifth to the root is a perfect fourth. So when we're practicing, we do the root. I'm sorry, from the first inversion, 3, 5, 1, and then 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1. So this is the second one, third one, and then on one string. Whoops. So that's kind of a tough jump, the fourth. Whoops. Okay, and then the second position, which is really second inversion, I should say. So it's really the root position, first inversion, second inversion. So I should probably fix my graphics there. That's an inversion. So you recognize this from the E shape, but we're only going to start on the fifth note here. So we're going to play 5, root, 3. So 5, root, 3, and then 5, root, 3, and then 5, root, 3, and then all in one string. Okay, so already we played through. We have 12 shapes. So in the next series of videos, I'm going to go across the whole thing. But this was an introductory part to show you the whole arc, and then with a little bit of time, a few weeks or maybe a little bit longer, a few number of hours. Just keep going through them slowly, and then you'll get them under your fingers, and you'll realize that, oh, I'm on the third here, so I can go back to this shape, or I can go up, or wait, I'm on my fifth here, so I can either go, or I can go here, whoops, and because we're doing perfect symmetrical tuning, perfect fourths tuning, you only have to learn the shapes once, and they work everywhere. So anyway, thanks for watching. It'll take some time. It'll be worth it. You can grab my books on Amazon. This content is from the metallic one, the Triad studies. The guitar in fourth gear is more about changing your mindset. It starts in scales and intervals, and then the Triads one is focused really on triads. And it really goes into, it just lays it all out, like every possible variation of the triad, but I think it's worthwhile. And here's my website and links to future things and my various projects. And there it is. Enjoy. Click on the link in the description, like and subscribe, all that stuff. Take care.